5 people were killed by Russian bombardments in Donetsk region on September 21. 12 other people were wounded, reported Pavlo Kyrylenko, the head of the Donetsk Regional Military Administration. The Russian military killed 2 people in Kurakhove, 1 in Bakhmut, 1 in Avdiivka and 1 in Kharkivka. Mr. Kyrylenko added that now it is impossible to determine the accurate number of victims in Mariupol and Volnovakha. The Russian forces shelled cottage area in Bakhmut and Khromove in Bakhmut Hromada. 2 people suffered injuries, 6 houses were damaged, said Pavlo Kyrylenko, the head of the Donetsk Regional Military Administration. He noted that late on September 21, the Russians launched a missile on an enterprise in Kramatorsk and shelled an art school in Chasiv Yar with cluster munitions. The Russian army also pummeled Mariinka, Krasnohorivka, Maximilianivka, Kostantinivka, outskirts of Ocheretine, Keramik and Novokalinove. No one was wounded. Throughout the night, there were occasional strikes in Avdiivka. In the morning, the downtown came under heavy artillery fire. The old town was shelled from tanks. We are investigating the consequences, Mr. Kyrylenko added. In Dulyivka, Kostantinivska Hromada, the Russian shelling damaged 2 houses. There has been no information about any casualties. In Svetlodarska Hromada, Odradivka and Mayorsk station were hit. No victims reported, Mr. Kyrylenko said. The Russians carried out a strike on Kharkiv's Kievsky district with missiles they did not use before. A car inside the garage was hit. The Regional Emergency Service reports that the Russian forces struck a garage cooperative in Kharkiv late on September 21. 7 garages were burning on the area of 200 square meters. 4 fire engines and 25 personnel were involved in fighting the fire and the shelling consequences. Early reports suggest no victims, the emergency service informs. The Russian army struck Kievsky district with unknown missiles. Serhiy Bolvinov, chief of the Kharkiv Regional Police Investigation Department, posted on Facebook. Direct hit in Gaz 2131 vehicle parked inside the garage. The vehicle and 4 empty garages around were destroyed. No victims. Missile fragments with foreign marking were discovered at the scene. The experts have not dealt with such a type earlier, the message reads. This garage cooperative had been shelled by the Russians before, said the Kharkiv Regional Prosecutor's Office. The missile fragments will be sent for expert examination. The emergency service reports that another fire caused by Russian bombardments broke out in Izumsky district. Over 24 hours, the deminers deactivated 456 Russian munitions that had not detonated. In the afternoon of September 21, the Russian army carried out a missile strike on Sinelnikivsky district in Dnipropetrovsk region, said Valentin Reznichenko, the head of the Dnipropetrovsk Regional Military Administration. He reported that the Russians hit an infrastructure facility and an agricultural company, causing destruction. Preliminarily, no one was hurt. According to the Dnipropetrovsk Regional Police, the Russian military launched a missile on one of the villages of Vasilkivska Hromada, Sinelnikivsky district. An agricultural company and a grain storage were damaged, as was later reported by Mykola Lukashuk, the head of the Dnipropetrovsk Regional Council. Russian troops had struck this district with missiles twice. The attack damaged 1 building and a passenger car. An agricultural company's storage was also hit. It stored 1,300 tons of wheat. Valentin Reznichenko, the head of Dnipropetrovsk Regional Military Administration, announced that on the night of September 22, a 35-year-old man died as a result of shelling by Russian troops in Nikopol, Dnipropetrovsk region. According to the report, the Russian army shelled the city from Grad. 20 shells were fired. In the city, 17 high-rise and private buildings, gas pipelines and power lines were mutilated. Russian shells also hit 2 hospitals, a school, a football field, a local history museum, administrative buildings, several shops and a market. The shelling also damaged the ceilings on the Alley of Memory. 4 fires broke out in trade stalls and garages. A 2-story building was on fire in Kryvyi Rih due to an attack by a kamikaze drone of the Russian army. Rescuers extinguished the flames. There are no dead or injured. Alexander Sienkiewicz, Mykolaiv city mayor, reported that on the night of September 22, Mykolaiv was heavily shelled by Russian troops. Various areas of the city were hit. Residential buildings and civil infrastructure facilities were damaged, said Mr. Sienkiewicz. According to the information of the Mykolaiv Regional Military Administration, 9 S-300 surface-to-air missile systems preliminarily hit the city. Multi-story buildings were damaged, windows were broken, gas pipelines, water supply, the courtyard of the cinema and theater, administrative buildings were damaged. Also, at 1:21 a.m., a fire broke out in a warehouse as a result of rocket fire, RMA reported. According to the head of the Regional Military Administration, Vitaly Kim, there were no casualties as a result of the shelling. Some water and gas networks were damaged. I think we will fix everything by the end of the day, said Vitaly Kim. Alexander Staruch, the head of the Zaporizhzhia Regional State Administration, announced that on September 21, the Russian military launched a missile attack on Zaporizhzhia. 5 rockets hit 3 districts of the regional center. 2 more shells fell in a field on the outskirts of the city. During the rocket attack on Zaporizhzhia, one of the shells fell on the yard of a private house in Komunarsky district. Correspondents of Suspilne Zaporizhzhia visited the scene. At the time of the impact, there were 3 people in the house. One of them was hospitalized with a concussion diagnosis. His condition is stable. The acting mayor of Zaporizhzhia, Anatoly Kurtyev, added that infrastructure facilities and private houses were destroyed. The number of damaged and destroyed buildings is established. Law enforcement officers inspect the sites of shelling, remove fragments of rockets, and collect evidence of an armed crime. Kirill Tymoshenko, deputy head of the Office of the President, announced that on September 22, Russian troops once again shelled the civilian infrastructure of Zaporizhzhia. In particular, they hit the hotel, which is located in the Central Park. The hotel was heavily damaged. People continued to live under the rubble. Rescuers are currently working at the site. Mr. Tymoshenko also said that the missiles hit the electrical substation. Hromadas in the south of the Zaporizhzhia district are currently without electricity. In total, the Russians hit the regional center with 9 missiles. Civil infrastructure of the city was destroyed. Alexander Staruch, the head of Zaporizhzhia Regional Military Administration, reported that residential buildings were destroyed. According to preliminary information, there is 1 dead and 5 wounded. The military administration reported that on September 21, the Russian military shelled the village of Volfene in Bilopilya Hromada, Sumy region. According to Dmitro Zhivitsky, the Russian military launched 10 mines. As a result of shell bursts, 3 houses of local residents were damaged. 1 house burned down. According to preliminary data, there are no victims. As reported by the military administration, an old man who died 2 weeks ago lived in the burnt house. As of September 21, the Russian military shelled Bilopilya, Seredina Buda and Shaligine Hromadas in Sumy region. Mr. Zhivitsky said a total of 38 explosions and 3 machine gun bursts were recorded.